what it is, um, how it like, for example, I just mentioned that what kind of tools do you use, but sometimes I mentioned AI, sometimes I mentioned generative AI. In order to actually understand what we are doing on a daily basis, we need to know what AI is and what the difference is between AI, which is a bigger bubble, and what is generative AI, which is within this bigger bubble. So we need some general understanding of what it is and how it works. There we go. We've got the second bubble, how it works. So for example, in the previous very short activity, you saw that each doctor kind of looked the same. All the nurses look the same. So I can actually ask you, and I'm going to ask you, so again, feel free to add your answers in the chat box. Why do you think this happened? So if we want to understand how AI works, why did we get these very similar looking doctors and very similar looking nurses? And why did we get male doctors and female nurses and not the other way around? I'm now asking all participants, feel free to speak up and answer, or you can just send in your ideas into the chat. Oh, okay, because it reflects society. Yeah, and I'm going to connect this answer to something in a minute. Why do you think this happened? Oh, and society's biased. Okay. What else could be the reason why we had very, very similar looking people and very similar looking setup? Like the nurses always stood behind the doctor. The doctor was holding, like crossing hands like this. Yes. Ooh, nice. I now algorithm, because it's because the norms of society perceive certain gender roles. Yes. And actually, if we bring the two together, we can actually see how AI is reinforcing these built-in biases because of the algorithm. So yes, so we need to kind of see two things side by side. We've got a, let's say, a soulless, and we can definitely say that the algorithm doesn't really have preferences. The algorithm is only doing its thing as a machine. However, the data that we feed into it can be biased. And then we come to what you just said. If society is biased, then the data is going to be biased and the machine is going to give you a biased response. That's one of the cases. So society is biased, the response is going to be biased. But the second option could be that those who train the machine are feeding in biased data because their view is also biased. So they are picking and selecting data that kind of reflect their own views. So we end up with the same subjective response. And it's very important. Now, we can, of course, argue about this forever, whether this is good or bad, what this is going to mean for our future. And this could be a very good activity, a debate or some sort of an essay activity. But first, we need to actually understand why we get these responses and what we need to keep in mind when we ask something from AI. Probably we're going to get some kind of a biased response. And then we can move on to other bubbles, such as real life use, like how we use AI in real life. For example, you as teachers started using it for probably, I'm guessing, materials generation, task design, giving feedback on certain things. That's one group of real life use. But we can also think about other things, such as GPS in our mobile phones, car systems. So those use AI as well, or some smart systems like a robotic lawnmower that can just track the entire lot and then figure out the map of that lot and then find its way around the place, that's also AI. So the more we understand where AI is and how it works, we can then see more clearly. Okay, let's move on. Oh, and someone said my finance uses it to do research on prices and trends. Exactly. Trend analysis is also a common use of AI. So AI has already been with us for a long, long time. We just got to see it more visibly when ChatGPT was released to the public. But it's been around us for a long time now, and it can do lots of good things, and it can be used for lots of bad things as well. So that brings me to the risks and benefits and the implications, so future implications. And you can also talk about this with your students, like what are the risks and what are the benefits? There might be lots of benefits, like, for example, analyzing trends. Also, AI is used for analyzing climate changes and how the climate is changing at the moment. We can use it to predict where tornadoes might hit and how we can be better prepared. But there can be lots and lots of negative uses of AI, and we have already seen many of them, such as deep fakes, for example. I'm going to put that in the chat box just in case. So, for example, deep fakes are really something we should, I'm not trying, I don't want to threaten anyone, but we should be afraid, because we really don't know where the limits are. Like, deepfakes can be now extremely realistic, and people started using them for various dangerous uses, such as manipulation and scamming others. So this could definitely be a dark side. But we need to prepare our students with these activities and how and what's waiting for them. And then we arrive at the final bubbles. And this is something I already mentioned, like how we can use AI critically. So, for example, the answers that we get, the responses that are generated should be proofread and should be checked, double checked, triple checked for sources, and whether they are using real data or not, whether they are generalizing or not. Ethical use, we're going to be looking at an activity in a minute, and safe use, like what we are uploading, what we are downloading, what we are asking. These are also very, very important. And you might be asking, like, okay, this is very good, but I'm an English language teacher. Why do I need this? And the reason is that, to be honest, I believe, and it's not just me, teachers in general believe that AI literacy is something that we need to introduce into education, just like media literacy, digital literacy. Now we have AI literacy, and as educators, we need to help our students be prepared for the future and for life that now involves AI and is revolving around AI. So it's very, very important that we prepare them. And language lessons are kind of the best places where we can do this, because while we are teaching English, we can be talking about so many different things. So, like, for example, environmental protection, which is somehow in connection with the risks and benefits of AI. AI is impacting the environment in an immense way. We can also argue whether it has a positive influence on the environment, perhaps by predicting trends and trying to make agriculture better, or, which is the more obvious one, a negative influence, because it uses lots and lots of energy and water. So in connection with environmental protection and global issues, we can bring in AI. And then in many, many ways, the language course or language lesson is the perfect place where we can explore these areas. Also, AI, like chatbots, are using language. So that's another great opportunity to use it to like generate texts, analyzing texts, writing texts with AI. And that's something we're going to be looking at. Okay, so let's see a game. Okay, this is going to be our first game. And this is something that I call the file safety game. And this is going to be the, let's see how many of you are here. Okay, this is going to be the first activity where I'm going to put you in breakout rooms of 3 or 4 randomly. So in the file safety game, you need to look at these cases and decide that which of these files and images are safe to upload for AI use. Let me give you an example to make it understandable. In an AI chatbot, if you have never used one before, you can upload a photo or a document and then ask something in connection with that. So like, here's the picture of my water bottle. Can you, I don't know, can you write a poem about my water bottle, for example? So you can upload some images, documents, and then have AI do something with them. And this is going to be the question here, whether these things, like you're taking a picture of the contents of your refrigerator, like you're just taking a photo and then uploading that photo into the chatbot, or you're taking a picture of the menu card in a foreign restaurant, is that okay? You just downloaded the manual of a computer from the official website. Can you upload the manual to ask something? Can you upload a page from a course book? Can you upload a contract because you want to ask something? You don't understand the contract, for example. And can you upload a group photo because maybe you just want everyone to wear a sombrero hat? Can you do these things or not? And this is going to be the first activity. I'd like you to discuss these briefly, like for 4 minutes, perhaps. Elena, can you help me with this?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and create 5 groups. There will be three to 4 participants in each group. All right. So
Awesome.
about
Thank
4
you.
minutes. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. And I'll share the slide inside the breakout room.
Sounds good. Daria, hi, Cecile. We're in a breakout groups, just working through some things here for the activity. Please feel free to join us. A
Yeah.
contract, that's probably
Mm.
not safe for
Mm-hmm.
sure. It's a lot of personal
Oh,
information
yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Group photo of your colleagues. No. Right. Why would
So
you
you
do
wouldn't
that?
do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't probably, I would think twice before I post it on social media, so I
Oh,
probably
nice. Very
shouldn't
good.
put it in ChatGPT.
Well, because like, ooh, okay. I'm gonna give you
You'll
a
wait.
story.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm gonna
Okay.
give everybody just 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. I think it
Mm-hmm.
takes a while to close the room. So I'm gonna go ahead and close all the rooms. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
Let me know if you would like to do another group activity or if you
Okay.
just want to keep going as is, however you prefer,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
depending on the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
We're coming back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Oh, I managed to change my background. Okay. All right. People are slowly coming back. Okay. I hope you guys had a nice discussion about these questions. And then I'm going to share the answers pretty soon. Okay, we still have like 20 seconds left. Um, would you say it was easy? You can like, I don't know if I can see anyone, but you can shake your head or just nod. Was it easy to decide whether these are okay or not okay? Yeah, sort of. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. And people are coming back now.
I
Nice.
think everybody should be back.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. So I really hope that you had a nice discussion about these, and let's see the answers. So actually, like most of these are not entirely black and white, and it's a totally gray area. For example, at first, and we agreed with Elena that the contents of your refrigerator, I thought that was totally fine. Like, what could happen? And for example, a possible use case for it would be, okay, here's what I have in my fridge. Give me a recipe. Give me some ideas for what I could cook tonight for dinner. And why would that be a problem? But then somebody mentioned at another conference that it could be used for some marketing techniques or like marketing ideas, or some companies might target you and like trying to sell you medicine or use it for health profiling or something like that. I never thought of this, but since you are giving access to this photo to a third party, and that's going to be important throughout this activity, that ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and so on, these chatbots are third party companies. So you're giving access to whatever you're uploading there, and that might bring in other uses. So, depending on whether you want to get unsolicited health advice or not, feel free to share the contents of your fridge. The menu card, now that's an interesting one because actually we are, or if you've been abroad, we have done this already when you're using Google Lens or Google Translate to take a picture of something, because you can like have instant translation of anything that you just point your camera at. And that's the best use. Like you are somewhere abroad, you want to go into a restaurant, and then you just instantly translate the menu, but with that, you are actually uploading the image of the menu card into Google's system. Now, is that a problem? I tried to look it up, and actually, it's if it's just, let's say, a normal menu card, not something super nice in design, then it's not a problem. But if it's something beautifully designed that could mean that it's a copyright issue, then it's a problem. However, everyone is doing it, and that makes AI use such a gray thing because everyone is doing it. So, what can you do about it? How will the restaurant find out about it? It's a very hard question. The manual of a computer from the official website, totally fine. And I added from the official website for a reason, because you're downloading it from the official website. However, the page from a course book is already copyright infringement, because even though you bought the book, you don't have the rights to upload any pages from the book into this third party chatbot. With that, you're breaching copyright, and that's an important issue. And I remember at the very beginning, and even now I'm pretty sure, all ELT teachers just jumped on ChatGPT and other chatbots. They were like, oh wow, I can finally update my old course book. I can grade the texts in my course book. Maybe you have access to an elementary course book and you would like to just up the level a little bit. I'm just going to take a picture, upload it into ChatGPT, and ask it to create a completely different or upgraded lesson. All great ideas, but technically, we don't have the right to do these things because we are actually stealing the property of the publisher. And that's something we need to bear in mind. Contract, however, I guess everyone thought that that's a big no-no because you would share lots of personal information, company data, any kind of like other data breaches, so we really shouldn't be sharing contracts. Because the problem is that it would make so much sense. A contract is typically phrased in a way that it's hard to understand, so it would make so much sense that you upload it and ask ChatGPT to simplify it, but you're sharing all the data. However, let's say you like just crop the section that you'd like to understand and you upload that one, that could be fine. And you take out all the sensitive data. A group photo of your colleagues, why would anyone do that? Well, for example, I'm not sure if you've been following these trends online, but there was a Studio Ghibli trend recently, and there was also an action figure trend. People were having fun with their profile pictures. They just uploaded them into ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT to create a Studio Ghibli version or create an action figure from my profile picture. This sounds like fun, and why not? But that's exactly what you would end up with, that you upload a photo of yourself. If you upload it of yourself, it's like fine because it's you and you are uploading a photo of yourself. But if you're uploading a photo of somebody else, you should ask for their consent. And if they say yes, then actually it's okay, but still it's a better idea not to do these things. So this is a very quick game that talks or helps students understand a bit of data protection, file safety, and how we can use AI in a safe manner. But let's move on to something else. And I'm going to give you a bit of reflection on this activity if you'd like to bring it into class. So this is something that you could play with like B1 plus level students, because they can then discuss whether like to do, not to do, why, give reasons why they think what they think. Materials, you only need, just like I did, you only need a computer and a projector so that you can project the slides. And the AI literacy focus of this activity is safe and responsible use. So that was one example activity that you can play with your students and improve their language skills at the same time. Now we're going to try something else. And for this, I'm going to have to get rid of my...
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Because I'm gonna have to use, I'm not sure if you used the voice mode of ChatGPT before, but I'm going to show you what it's capable of and how it might affect the future of language learning. So, as far as I know, there are a couple of Russian speakers among us. There might be, or at least those who have some sort of ability to do something with Russian. I studied Russian. I'm not a good, I mean, I speak Russian, but I'm afraid of speaking it in public. But we're going to figure it out, how it works. So I opened the ChatGPT app on my phone and I'm going to launch the voice mode. Hey, ChatGPT, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help you today?
Listen, I want to practice my Russian with you. I don't think I'm a very confident speaker, but I would like to say something about my life. Can you correct me?
Of course, I'd be happy to help you practice your Russian. Feel free to say anything you'd like, and I'll help you with corrections if needed. Go ahead.
Здравствуйте. Я хочу говорить о том, что сейчас я преподаю преподавателям, как использовать AI и.
Отлично. Вы сказали, я хочу говорить о том, что сейчас я преподаю преподавателям, как использовать AI. Ваше предложение почти правильное. Лучше сказать, я преподаю преподавателям, как использовать ИИ, искусственный интеллект. Хорошо получилось. Продолжайте, если хотите добавить что-то еще.
Thank you so much for your feedback, but it was a little bit fast for me. Can you just tell me the gist of it in English?
Of course. You said you're teaching teachers how to use AI. Great job. Just a small correction. Instead of AI, you can say EE, which stands for Искусственный интеллект in Russian. Keep it up.
And that was the little demo, and I just want to show you that you get the transcript of the entire conversation in the at the same time as you finish the conversation. So this was something that our students can do as well. Basically, they use AI to practice their foreign language, whatever foreign language that is. AI can speak whatever language you speak to it. It detects the language and then responds. And that's my question, actually, whether you think this voice mode or this kind of AI conversation is going to change the future of language learning. And in connection with that, now we won't go into breakout rooms, but I just want you to think about it. Think about like how I managed to interact with this voice chat, whether what it said, and I'm not sure whether you could judge, but whether what it said was correct. Was it pronounced correctly? Because I don't think so, actually. But like, did it have an accent in Russian or not? And how can students use this in the future? And you can also see some other questions in connection with this, like how will language teaching change in the future? What new jobs with languages will there be in the future? And what other changes connected to languages will there be? If AI is capable of doing this now, and it might improve in the future, so how is it going to change the future of language learning? And I'd like you to share your thoughts and predictions in the chat, okay? So I'm going to bring back these questions, and based on what you just saw in this or what you experienced in this short demo, what do you think? Share some of your predictions in the chat. And I'm also going to check what happened. Oh, your Russian is great. Thank you so much. My Russian is not great, but thank you so much. I feel very, very self-conscious when I'm speaking Russian. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Could be good for pronunciation feedback. Right. Okay. Feel free to share more of these predictions. Exactly. Like students could practice more independently. And that can, some teachers are actually afraid of this because, oh, I'm not going to be needed anymore then. Do you have any other ideas? I'm just going to wait a little bit more. Yes, exactly. Personalized learning. Yeah. Also, if you think about it, like, yes, like you can actually have a teacher in your pocket. The only thing is that's going to be, and why? Oh, yeah, it's like having a private tutor. Absolutely. Thinking about teachers of English who are non-native speakers of English and how this will impact them. Well, the question is how? Do you think it will impact them negatively or positively? And also, we could say that, oh my God, now as a teacher, I'm afraid I'm not going to be needed anymore. But we might reconsider our role in this case, that unless students know how to interact with this private tutor, like what to ask and what sort of feedback to request, they won't be able to use it very efficiently. So we can help them use this tool more efficiently. So instead of being there all the time giving feedback ourselves, we can help them learn how they can ask for feedback from AI. So our role changes slightly, and then we become more of a facilitator or coach in this sense, and we just hand this information over to them so that they can learn independently. Oh, interesting. I'm not sure how much adaptation language learners level. Oh, yes. Exactly. We can adapt quickly in natural conversations. Yeah, that's a very good point. And also, if you start playing with this, you will see that, yeah, sometimes, for example, and I noticed this at the, like, if I compare the voice chat, let's say half a year ago to what it is like now, at the beginning, it didn't even wait for you to think. So you were trying so hard to like put your sentence together. It obviously takes some time and it kept interrupting you. And you were like, but I'm not done yet. I need to think. Please wait. And now it picks up on this more readily, and it can understand that you're thinking. It takes some time. You're trying to use it for practicing, and you're not an actual like Russian speaker who would like to discuss something, but you're practicing your Russian. So it takes some time. But you're absolutely right that it's still not a teacher. It's just a conversation, an artificial conversation partner. But it's something, and we might argue that in large classes, very large classes, like 45, 50 plus, it could be a good solution to just take some workload off the teacher. So this was another activity that I wanted to quickly show you. And then it could follow up with a couple of reflection questions. But basically, this is called the future of language learning, which again can be used for B1 plus students, because they can, again, discuss the pros and cons, discuss future tenses. I think this will happen. I think this won't happen. And they are talking about real life use of AI and the risks and benefits and the implications. And I can see that we're slowly getting closer to the end. So I'm just going to skip a couple of things. There are still a lot of activities here but I'm just going to briefly introduce them. So we might do this in like 1 second. This would be another activity, the guess the song activity, because you can generate songs with AI, but in order to generate a song, you need a good prompt and a good description. So if you had to guess which song this is, what would you say? I'm not sure how familiar you are with current pop songs. Not really. I'm going to show you, maybe it's the next one. This was Taylor Swift. But what about this one? I'm 100% sure you're going to get the band. So it's the 1970s disco pop song with an infectious melody, upbeat tempo, bright female vocals, lyrics in English about a young woman who loves to dance. I'm sure you can guess which band this is. It's a frequent choice in karaoke clubs. They won the Eurovision. They are from a European country that also has IKEA. Anyone? ABBA. Yes, it is ABBA. Yes. So this is Dancing Queen. So, by the way, you can play this kind of activity. This could go on and on and on. Actually, what would happen is students write the description of their favorite songs and guess each other's descriptions. But this is all just a precursor to writing a song prompt, because we are learning with these examples how a good song prompt looks, and then we would generate the song, but we won't have time for that. But that's what would happen. We basically learn the song prompt descriptions, what these are like and what they contain, and then we would generate a song, and then we would reflect. Which song do you like more, the generated version or the original version? And that is something that can then lead into other questions like art, AI and art, and what if we can generate songs in like 10 seconds? How will it change our concept of art and creativity? So this is the guess the song or song reboot activity that you can play with very low level students, actually, because they don't, apart from like specific vocabulary like melody, and they don't really need other specific vocabulary, just the genre like rock, pop, and where it's from and what it's about. But all of these, and I just want to show you, come from our book that, yeah, here it is, that came out this year. And I'm going to just share a bit of info about our book. All of these activities can be found in this AI Literacy in the Language Classroom book, published by Delta Publishing. I will send you the slides, and if you click on this big book, you will be taken to the US distributor, but I think I'm going to include the international website as well. So from all over the world, you can order it. There are 3 parts in this book. In the first part, we talk a bit about what AI is and how it's used, just like if you remember the bubbles at the beginning, to understand what it's actually about and what AI does. Then there are 50 activities that are ready to use classroom activities that you can take into your classroom. Always, just like you saw, there's always a level recommendation, an age recommendation, and an AI literacy area. And in part C, we also thought about including those are reflective activities that are about you, like what, as a teacher, what AI literacy journey have you had, and how you can deal with certain AI literacy problems, such as parent-teacher meetings, teacher-staff meetings, creating your own AI policy for the school, dealing with AI detectors, whether that's a good idea or not, and teaching related questions are in the third part of the book. But there are other amazing sources out there as well. So our book is just one of the many. There's the ISTE website, which has lots of hands-on AI projects for the classroom. These are not specifically for language school or like language lessons, but there might be some interesting projects. There's also an AI ethics curriculum done by MIT, and Cambridge University Press also had Gen AI idea cards for teachers, and all of these are clickable and downloadable. And that brings me to the end. Thank you for being here, and thank you for coming, and I'm happy to answer a couple of questions.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you.
If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and I have a clarifying question about the copy. If it's just a page from a book, a textbook, by uploading it, let's say to ChatGPT and asking it to upgrade it, update it, maybe create new activities. So any use from any published material is considered copyright.
Unfortunately, yes, yeah.
Infringement.
Even though,
Okay.
and that's I mean, I know how the world works, and I know that we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been uploading books and pages of books and documents everywhere and sharing them with students. Technically, we shouldn't have been doing those either, unfortunately. So, for example, like having a private student and then uploading something to Google Drive so that we can look at the same course book, that shouldn't be done either. No, but I mean, the problem is that technically no one is going to find you, but it's how it impacts the publisher and the authors of the book. And now there are lots and lots of lawsuits in connection with the song generation as well, that lots of artists have already sued the song generator websites, and the label, like the artist label companies also sued them, because they are just stealing artwork without actually paying for it. So it's not like artists are not upset. Well, they might be upset about like companies stealing their work, but they are more upset about not getting compensation for it. So they worked hard, and all these big LLMs and other models just take their things and they then use those things and data in generating further material. And that's the delicate part of it.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Anything you're dying to share on a Saturday with us? Thank you, Joe, so much.
Yeah, thank you
Would
for
you
being here on a Saturday.
could I share a link to your presentation with everybody in chat?
Absolutely. Yes, yeah,
All
feel
right.
free.
I
Yeah.
am gonna go ahead and share Joe's
And then you can check out the
presentation.
other activities that we didn't have time for. So yeah, use
Mhm.
it as you wish.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much, Joe, for such
Thank you.
practical and informative session. And you've given us a lot. You already given us a lot to think about and also to try out in our classrooms. So thanks to everyone who joined us today on Saturday morning, evening. We are so glad you could be here and hope you're living with ideas you're excited to use in your classroom, and also how to use safely the LMM. See you. Hopefully, we will see you next time at our Tech Talk, which is on August 23rd.